What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm bringing to you guys a full complete pest control guide for old school RuneScape. Now this is a highly requested guide on my channel, and basically I'm going to be going through the key things that you need to know for the minigame and some cool tactics that I think are really useful to know. So I'm going to go through the requirements and then the gear and inventory setups. Then I'm going to go through some of the general tactics in the game, things about the portals and the pests. And then lastly, I'm going to go through some of the rewards. Enjoy. So kicking it right off, the bare minimum requirements for the pest control minigame is to have at least level 40 combat. The best way to get to pest control is to use the pest control teleport in the minigames interface within the quest tab of your game, and the other way to get there is to take the boat from Port Sarim. So once you're there, there's 3 different boats that you can choose from. The first boat is the novice boat, which requires 40 combat and will take you about 14 hours to get 1 full set of void, and rewards 2 points for every successful game. The intermediate boat requires level 70 combat and gives you 3 points per game, but will take 10 hours, which is 4 hours less, to get a full set of void. Now the fastest boat, which takes 7 hours to get a full set of void, is the veteran portal, and that requires 100 combat and will give you 4 points for every win. So getting into it, the only recommendation that I have for you guys is to have at least a decent combat level skill. So what I mean by that is to be able to damage the pests in the game and basically play the minigame effectively. Something I should note is that prayer and defense pures actually can still play the minigame and still get the point limit that you need, which I'll explain a bit further in this guide. Other than that, there's no actual skill requirements for pest control and is a combat-based minigame. So moving to the gear and inventory setups, you should always use your best combat setup, or the setup for the attack style that you want to train. So pest control back in 2013 and 14 used to give half of the normal combat XP, but an update at the start of 2015 made it give you the full experience, so it's actually not a bad place to train combat while getting some pretty good rewards such as the Void Knight armor. Defense is not necessary as there's no actual negatives of dying in the minigame. You simply just spawn back to the entrance boat of the island and you can run straight back to the pest area. Regarding your inventory, you don't actually need any items to do the minigame, but I recommend bringing only combat potions if you are thinking of taking potions, and don't bother bringing expensive potions like super combat potions, because after each round your stats are reduced back to their normal levels. So that being said, if you're ranging or maging, don't even bother bringing range or mage potions. You should only bring combat potions if you're using melee, and they're only 50 gold coins per sip, or 200 for a full potion. In my inventory, I usually like to take a bit of food and a spec wep, just since your special attack actually replenishes at the end of each game as well. So at the start of each game, you can use your spec just for a bit of extra XP and damage. Note that you can't use a cannon within the minigame, so don't bother bringing that with you, and it'd be kind of pointless since you'd probably lose it anyway if you could by leaving it on the island. So moving along, the general tactics that I'm going to go through for the minigame are really useful in optimizing your contribution to the team that you're with. So the idea of the minigame is to defend the central Void Knight in the middle area from the pests which come out of the 4 portals located around the pest map. The Void Knight has 200 hit points and a pretty low defense level, so he takes a lot of damage if you don't play the game properly. Now, in order to be rewarded with coins and the Void Knight commendations, or pest control points, you need to deal at least 50 damage to the pests combined. It's not recommended to leech in this minigame, which means get 50 points and then just sit around doing nothing, because almost all of the players need to help out or the knight will die. It is like that. You can't just be slacking off in this minigame. So to start off the game, you board your corresponding boat with novice, intermediate, or veteran boat, and I obviously recommend doing the highest possible boat for the best rewards possible, but obviously the higher ones are going to be a bit harder. So once you're in the boat, you got to patiently wait for the game to start, and that will only take like 10 to 20 seconds on world 344, which is the pest control world, and then once you're in, you run out of the boat into the pest area. Each game needs at least 5 players to start, so it's impossible to solo the pest control minigame, and up to 25 players can play each game. On the pest control world, you're always going to be getting 25 players each game. So earlier I said something about prayer and defense pures being still able to play the game effectively. So what I meant by that is that it would be hard to reach the 50 damage by the end of each round if you don't have any combat skills. But you can actually get 5 damage points per wall or barricade that you repair, so it makes pest control doable for those kind of accounts. To repair walls and barricades, all you need to do is bring an axe with you, and you can chop down the trees around the map, and then you can repair the barricades by clicking on them. So onto the minigame itself, there's 3 main jobs within the game. The first is the portal hunter, and that is the players that hop around to each portal and mainly focus on killing the spinners, which heal the portals, making it hard to finish the minigame, and then they kill the portals once all the spinners are dead and the shields are down. So each portal actually has its own weakness. The purple portal is weak to range attacks, the blue portal is weak to magic attacks, the yellow portal is weak to stab and slash attacks, and then the red portal is weak to crush. If you're thinking of being a portal hunter, you should bring one of each of these attack styles to play super effectively. So once you enter the island, all of the portals have a shield on them, meaning you can't attack them. So after 15 seconds, one of the 4 portals will lose their shield, and then 30 seconds after that, and continuing every 30 seconds, another one will lose its shield. So essentially, each pest control game is going to take a minimum of about 2 minutes, and then that's how long they usually take, provided you're not with a team of leeches. The order in which the shields drop on each portal is actually similar to Zora patterns, in that there's actually a few different patterns that the portals can drop in. I'm not going to go into detail of all the 6 patterns that they can go through, but the main idea is that the red portal cannot go down first. So if you're a portal hunter, there is no point in running to the red portal first, because it is not going to lose its shield first. So to summarize, the portal hunters essentially focus on killing the spinners and portals, and should use combat potions and set their quick prayers to things like piety or stat boosting prayers, and maybe a bit of food would be useful as well. The portal hunting role is mainly for main accounts with a high defense level, because as you're attacking the portals, a lot of pests will be attacking you. Now, I want to quickly note before I move on to the next role, is that the minigame doesn't actually choose your role. That is completely your choice. So once you finish this video, you should have a think about what you want to train and what you think would be best for your account, and then go with that role every game. So the second role I'm going to go through is the Void Knight Defender role, and basically they stand in the middle of the island on the little elevated platform where the Void Knight stands, and basically this role just has to kill all the pests, mainly the shifters that appear, that are attacking the Void Knight. They should also focus on closing the gates around the middle area, because without them closed, the torches and defilers can actually attack the knight very long range. The Void Knight Defender also should focus on fixing these gates, and should bring an axe in their inventory to gather logs from around the island. This role doesn't usually take any damage because the pests are all focused on killing the Void Knight, but it's useful to use prayers that boost your stats. To summarize, this role is mainly best for pures, since you won't be taking a lot of damage, and you can deal a lot of damage to the pests around the Void Knight. The third and final role in the minigame is the gate defending role, and basically they stand at the southern gate area, and their job is to kill all the torches and defilers in the area which are attacking the Void Knight. It's a pretty good idea to stand in the doorway actually of the northern gate, because that way the pests prioritize attacking you over attacking the Void Knight. So that means the Void Knight will be taking far less damage. Protect from range or mage can be useful for pure accounts with low defense, but usually these monsters don't really hit a lot. So they're the roles in the minigame, but there's actually a few more important notes I need to make. The first, at the end of each pest control game, your stats, hit points, special attack, and run are all sent back to 100%. So essentially, you should always have your run on in the minigame, and should always use your special attack at some point within each game. The second thing is that you might find yourself stuck in places in the minigame, and that usually happens because of brawlers, which are pests that do not let you walk past them. The best way out of that kind of situation is simply just to kill them. For maximum points per hour, the best thing to do is not screw around at the end of each game and go straight back into the boat after your previous match. And then you'll usually be sent straight into another game. So by waiting around a little bit and maybe looking at the rewards or something, you actually lose a lot of time since the game times are split very evenly. Now, in terms of rewards, you can obviously get the full set of Void Knight armor. To see a video I made about each of the Void sets and their benefits, there's going to be a link on the screen that you can click, and I highly advise checking that out if you don't know a lot about Void. Another thing about pest control that a lot of players don't actually realize is that it's one of the fastest ways to train hit points in the game, and you can get up to about 70k hit points XP an hour if you spend your pest control points just on hit points. So along with these XP rewards, which are dependent on your current level, there's actually some other rewards like packaged reward, namely the herb pack, which costs 30 points, the mineral pack, which costs 15 points, and the seed pack, which is also 15. Usually these are a waste of points, but the only noteworthy one is the herb pack, which can make pest control a bit profitable, but really I'd be saving your points for XP or Void Knight sets mainly. To get all 3 sets of Void armor, it costs a total of 1,250 points and can take up to 20 hours in the novice boat. So in conclusion, pest control is an enjoyable minigame, but can get pretty tedious at times, so it's crucial to play the minigame in the right way and the right way for your team. So my advice is to choose a role that suits you, that you enjoy. That'll make it less tedious in getting each of those really powerful Void sets. Anyways, good luck getting those pest control points. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you want to see more videos like this, and subscribe for more old school content. Thanks for watching.